Welcome to another week, another show of Hawkeyed with me, Dave O'Hara, and Hellerball. Rick Heller, he is back. What a year they had. Of course, you can see we're at the Iowa Baseball Complex here at the University of Iowa. Let's first start off with this year. Last time we talked to you, and folks, this is on the record, Coach Heller joined me right after they beat the then number one ranked LSU Tigers. Oh, by the way, LSU just won the national championship over Florida. So you can say you're the national, or I'll say it for you. You're the national champion. But did you and your fans and team have more Jell-O shots than LSU at the World Series? That's the question.
Our fans may have.
You go.
They had more Busch Light, I'm sure.
Well stated. So let's talk about this year. I mean, again, what a year, 44-16. I'm going to start there and let you fill in some blanks. Just what a great start after beating LSU, and then you just kept rolling, Rick.
No, and that was something that we talked about early on in the fall. We looked at, the fact that we were left out of the NCAA tournament the year before. We did everything we could to try politically to make sure that didn't happen again. And, the athletic directors in the Big Ten were involved, and the commissioner, and, did as much as we could because it wasn't just us, it was Rutgers as well. And but when the team came in, I said to the guys, listen, what could we have done? What could we have done as a team that would have prevented that from happening? Short of winning the Big Ten tournament, which is the automatic bid. I said, in my opinion, we have to get off to a better start. I mean, we didn't get off to a bad start the prior year, but it wasn't great, which is understandable, and there's plenty of excuses being a northern team going south, and it's not easy to win on the road, period, let alone when you hadn't played. But this team set out to be more ready, more prepared, more driven to go play hard right away. And we, lo and behold, what happened? We get off to the best start in school history, 19-2. And
by saying 44-16, I didn't mean to bury the lead. When you said that, I started smiling, going, "What a start!"
Yeah, and that was talked about August 22nd.
Yeah,
and we felt like if we could do that with some of the teams that we played, LSU being one of them, from an RPI standpoint, that would put us in a position where if we finished the year off like we had the previous 2 years, that we should be in a good place to get that at-large bid, and lo and behold, it worked out. We played really solid. A little bit of a lull the first part of April when we lost Sam Peterson. He broke a bone in his hand and had to have some surgery, and it shows you how tough Sam is. He only missed like 12, 14 days, and was back in the lineup after he had a pin put in his hand. And we had to play Indiana and Maryland the first two right off the bat, and it was a weird year with luck and how things bounce your way, because we had a lot of things go our way, but that was that point in the year when it didn't, and the wind blew in all 6 of those games. We had 3 home runs robbed.
Yep.
Sam Honar hit a ball 110 mile an hour off the pitcher's rear end, and it dropped straight with the bases loaded, and things like that happen in baseball. And unfortunately for us, it kind of happened at the worst possible time. And the great thing was that the guys didn't panic. We just said, hey, it is what it is, and we are where we are, and we've got to make a run. And the guys buckled down, and we played great baseball the rest of the season, and had some big wins. Sweeping Nebraska, sweeping Michigan State. I mean, we had some really good wins, and almost won the Big Ten tournament, and then went down to the regional. For me, there were a lot of positives going down there. It was an opportunity to see a lot of people that were super supportive to me when I was down there the 4 years, and a lot of the staff that I worked with are still there, and it was awesome to see them, and they did a great job of running the regional. But I was thinking, if from a committee standpoint, come on, man, don't. You're really
why are you sending me here?
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of a
back to Terre Haute.
It was kind of a jerk move in my mind. I'm like, come on, man. I mean, why would you do that?
Yeah.
But after the initial shock of that, I mean, you just buckle down and you go play. And
to your point, they couldn't keep you out this year, so we'll just, as you said, the jerk move, and we'll send you to Terre Haute again.
Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like.
I agree with you.
And so we win 2 games. We beat North Carolina twice. all of us would like to have the 8th inning of Game 2 against Indiana State back where we had a lead, and there haven't been many times in the last 10 years that we had a lead in the 8th inning that we didn't finish it off, and that happened to be one of them. And if you'd been following Indiana State, they were on fire and super confident, and they'd won 2 or 3 games like that, including the one against Wright State the day before, and we ran into some bad luck and things snowballed. And if you remember that situation,
Sure did.
Had an infield single where we didn't get it out, and then a jam shot that just fell perfectly off the diving glove of Michael Seegers, our shortstop, and then some self-inflicted damage after that did us in. But guys fought hard, and I thought that day that we had to play the 2 9-inning games and then the one went extra innings, and it was 100 degrees, and our guys fought super hard, and something that we won't talk a lot about, but we'd lost Keaton Anthony the last 17 games. And
any update on that, or is it still what it is?
It is what it is. I think
Okay.
the investigation is ongoing, and then right before I came down here, I saw that the NCAA just put out a release on a new set of guidelines and rules for sports gambling in college and college athletes, and I didn't get a chance to read it, but it just broke, and I mean literally 2 minutes before.
Yeah.
And then Jacob Henderson was one of our top bullpen guys, and when you get in the losers bracket, you need every arm, and there were some situations that he would have been in, but I guess the point I want to make is we found this out literally 2 hours before the Ohio State game on Friday night. I think it was May 5th. And had a great talk with the team and rallied the team, and how this can't let it derail the season we've had, and the next man in will get the job done. And lo and behold, Braden Frazier steps in, and Braden's a good player, and he's played a lot in his career here, but he hadn't been starting as of late, and he took full advantage of his opportunity and was just dynamite down the stretch and all the way through. And but let's face it, we lost potentially the Big Ten Player of the Year.
Yes. And
one of the top hitters in the entire country. And we didn't have a backup catcher. Cade Moss had to catch every inning the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So our guys, had to deal with some stuff that was unexpected, that they had no control over, and I thought they handled it unbelievably well. I mean, to have those guys go out and finish it off, get the regional bid, play in the regionals, win 2 games in the regionals against a blue blood North Carolina, and then
play the home team in Indiana State.
Lose a tough game for the Big Ten tournament championship. I couldn't be prouder of those guys and the season we had. And
great season. We're going to talk a little bit more about who's coming back, who left. We're going to talk about Brendan Durigge, what a year he had. But when we come back, let's run the break. There's some guys we didn't mention that we're going to mention. And really glad, Coach, that you're here for the whole show with us. He is Rick Heller, Hellerball, here at University of Iowa. I'm Dave O'Hara with Hawkeyed. We'll be back with more in just a few moments.
To have a strong finish, you need an excellent start. It's true on the track and also in the field. That's why Merschman Seeds works tirelessly to deliver cutting-edge technology year after year. Introducing Starting Line, Merschman Seeds' latest advancement in seed treatment, now providing added protection from white mold and sudden death syndrome all season. Ask for Starting Line seed treatment from Merschman Seeds, your friend in the field.
Welcome back to Hawkeyed with me, Dave O'Hara, and Rick Heller. Rick, good to see you again.
Thanks.
You're very welcome. Coach Heller, here at the head baseball coach, University of Iowa Baseball, Hellerball, the man behind the plan, Iowa native from Cardinal of Eldon, Iowa. And Coach, we talked about what a banner season it is as we record this on Wednesday, June 28th. And Coach, we talked about record-setting year, 44-16, record-setting start, 19-2, Big Ten runner-up, third in the regular season, runner-up in the tournament. Then you go to regionals and lose to the eventual. They moved on, obviously, Indiana State, the host school in Terre Haute. You go to that regional. Then you take a look at the season as a whole, and we kind of smile now and say, hey, you beat LSU, who won the national championship. But I must ask you, or we must bring this name up, Brendan Durigge. I mean, we talked about him all year with your broadcasters and John Evans and John Leo. We all saw what he did. We talked about him on this show. You talked about him the first time. transfer in his senior year, played 4 years at Wofford, used his COVID year, came here to Iowa, was elected captain as the season started, which tells you a lot right there.
Yeah.
My goodness, Rick, that's one name we got to talk about. He did not let you guys down as a captain and a leader.
No, he had a fantastic year and was so instrumental in our success on a daily basis behind the scenes when nobody was watching, and his professionalism and his approach to the game and the effort that Brennan brings to the table every day. I mean, he brings it every day. He's not a boisterous guy, but I mean, his effort, his focus is off the charts. I mean, work ethic, studies the game, studies opposing pitchers, the preparation he puts in, when no one's watching is at an elite level. In my opinion, has a chance to be a great pro player. So I'm hoping that all the scouts out there were watching what I watched this year, because I mean, what I watched was a pro hitter. And when we ended up losing Keaton, when we had those two, man, what a 1-2 punch there in the middle. But Brennan really picked up the slack and helped carry us down the stretch, and played a good first base, and plays the game the right way, and just a really solid leader.
So let's talk about what you got coming back next year, and let's start with pitching, of course, please.
Well, a couple guys that we didn't hit on that are going to be key losses would be Luke Llewellyn and Will Christopherson. And both of those guys.
Oh, there's your bullpen right there.
Yeah, both those guys were outstanding for us. I had a blip in the radar here and there, but for the most part, it was a really consistent season for both of those guys, and just the development that I seen in those two guys from the day they got here until the day they walked out the door is just a testament to how hard they worked. As far as Brody goes, Brody is currently competing for a spot on the USA national team. Prestigious honor to be even invited to the tryouts. And had a good outing in his first outing. And then when he comes back, whether he makes a team or he'll be back on campus after it's over, however that ends. And he needs to shut it down a little bit here and really get back in the weight room and really get back into his training, and then start ramping up for fall ball. And it'll be his first fall with us, which I know all of us are really looking forward to having Brody for a full year.
I want to jump in. Yeah, he is no longer playing football. We covered that earlier this spring. And that's big when you mention all these guys coming back. We talked to Parker Hesse last week, and Parker, former Hawkeye, great defense, but now plays for tight end for the Falcons. And I'm really glad you brought that up about being back on campus and getting into routine. I love the fact that all these guys get to congregate and share stories and leadership, and Parker's still coming back and working out with Tyler Linderbaum and Welch, and all these guys, and basketball players coming back. Chris Murray obviously going to the NBA. Congratulations to the Murray family, number 23rd pick overall. Almost joined his brother Keegan, missed it by one pick. But I'm really glad you brought that up with Brody. I wanted to highlight that. Of course, Caitlin Clark wins the Honda Cup. No other Iowa players ever won that. She's going to win some ESPYs, it sounds like, national awards. So when you talk about that, getting back on campus, I'm really glad you went there. He's in North Carolina now with the men's or the national team, but get back into that routine, and all these great Hawkeyes come back, and boy, it's infectious. I know a lot of people look at other programs and say, well, it doesn't matter how football does to baseball or basketball. It matters, Rick, to get all these people, all these great athletes. Iron sharpens iron.
No, it definitely does, and it also tells you how good the coaching staff is across the board. I mean, every sport here at Iowa, it's lined up right now, and we're in a wonderful time, and everybody supports everybody, and everybody pulls for everyone, and it's truly one big family. And
I knew that, but I'm glad to hear you say that.
Yeah, and all of us are getting notes from one another when someone does well.
That's awesome.
And what an example. It starts every fall, and then it goes into our winter sports, and you got amazing examples to watch and look at as you're getting ready for your season. You're grinding it out when nobody's watching, and I mean, this year watching our women's basketball team and what they did, and what Caitlin does is just incredible, and then best example you could possibly have, and then we take it and run with it, and Joey and the rest of the spring sports, and You try to
That banner season for track. I'm glad you brought that up. Joey
just
Woody, yeah.
Try to uphold the tradition, and just so many great people here, and great kids and great athletes.
So let's take a look at who else we got coming back. So besides Brody, let's continue on with that, please.
Well, then Marcus Morgan is out in the Cape pitching right now, and it'll be a great experience for Marcus. Coming off of how well he pitched the last part of the season, and the confidence that he's been able to build, and just that experience in the Cape is going to be really nice for Marcus.
Good.
And then those two back with Coach McGrath for the first time. Having a full year with Sean, and the job that he does is just tremendous, and he's so good with the mental game, and giving those guys routines, and giving them things that they can do to just stay in the moment and be truly one pitch at a time guys. And he made big strides, but he'll make even bigger strides this year. And then you've got Cade Obermueller that falls right into the same boat with those guys. Cade's out in the Cape and getting that experience, and facing the best hitters in college baseball day in and day out. You've got Jack Whitlock back, and the incredible what Jack did.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in some really bad spots and bailed us out. Bases loaded, nobody out, strikes out the side against Michigan, and stuff like that. I think he was 7-1 or 7-0 for us. And another freshman that got his feet wet this year is Aaron Savory.
Yep.
So we've got some things really lined up.
Now, that's pitching. Now, you got a lot of big recruits coming in. Again, we lost some guys either to transfer or graduation or lack of eligibility. So you've got some guys coming in this year. Anybody stands out? If you don't want to mention names, you don't have to. But positions, if you want to mention names, please do.
Well, I was just looking at the going around the diamond of the guys we got back. Cade Moss is back, who started virtually every game.
And Raider Tello.
Raider Tello's back,
yep.
and let's not underscore the impact Raider had on last year's team, because he had a similar impact that Brendan DeRiggi did, because Raider plays the game the right way, and he plays the game the right way every single day. And he played amazing defense at third, was a consistent hitter the entire year. I think, 1 year under his belt, you're going to see Raiders' power numbers go up this year.
Yep.
Michael Seegers is as good a shortstop as there is in the country defensively, and his offense really picked up this season from last. And Gable Mitchell got his feet wet last year, and Gable's an elite level defender. Bat is still kind of a work in progress.
And if that first name sounds familiar, his grandpa, Dan Gable.
Yes.
Anyway.
And Dad Brian, hit 20 home runs here as a second baseman when he was here.
Oh, by the way.
Yeah, and you saw just a little bit of this guy. Great personality, great teammate, Blake Guerin. Big guy, 6'6".
The big bopper. What a bomb he hit it, yeah.
And that doesn't happen when you see a guy come in and do that. That doesn't happen unless that guy is totally in for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Kyle Hucksdorf is one of those guys that, as Michael Seegers, can't assume that they won't get drafted, because it could happen. If they do come back, it's going to be the situation we talked about. I think there's a good chance of that. But I also know there is a chance that someone could take both Hucksdorf and Michael. But if Kyle's back, you're getting the best center fielder in the Big Ten back defensively, and a guy that can steal a bunch of bags, which he did this year, and do a good job with his bat. And then Sam Peterson had a breakout year.
Yeah, he did.
And then we talked about in the first segment how he had to overcome a broken bone and actual surgery of putting a pin in his hand, and still come back and play the way he did. And I look for Petey to step up and have a big year. He's playing in the Cape this year, which is going to be good for him.
Good. Coach, thanks again. Let's go one more segment with you. Let's talk some talent in state that is in the Major League Baseball. And you know a lot of these guys. You've seen them all play, and it's going to be fun to catch up with you on that. So he is Rick Heller, head baseball coach, University of Iowa. I am Dave O'Hara with Hawkeyed. More Heller ball and Hawkeyed in just a few moments.
Who do you trust to produce the best yield? A seed company that's chasing technology, or a seed company that's writing a book on it? Mershman Seeds is a leader in technology. We're independent and family owned. Our sister company, MS Technologies, provides access to world-class traits and genetics. And our starting line seed treatment is second to none. Who can you trust with your yields? Mershman Seeds, your friend in the field.
Welcome back to Hawkeyed with me, Dave O'Hara, and Hellerball, Rick Heller. I got to shake that hand one more time, Dave. Rick, you're very welcome. Thanks for being here. Head baseball coach here at the University of Iowa. We are at the University of Iowa training facility here on campus, and Coach Heller kind enough to join us for the whole show. This is Hawkeyed with me, Dave O'Hara, and Rick, I got to tell you, just telling stories and talking off the air, and it's taken us forever to do this. We record this on Wednesday, June 28th, and I say forever for Rick's time because he's a busy guy. But, man, this guy loves talking baseball, and I love talking sports, but especially baseball. Let's talk some talent here in Iowa that has gone on to the major leagues. Let's start with the kid from your home area, Keaton Wynn. And you and I talked a little bit off the air. He went to Iowa Western and then got into the San Francisco Giants organization. But neat that he got to make his debut against the home area, St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
Got a 4-inning save. Talk about when you went and saw him play, some of the things you saw in him.
No, I mean, I'm super happy for Keaton. And he has a great family, awesome family. We watched Keaton play a lot, starting when he was pretty young. As we were saying before, he was one of those guys that as a recruiter, you're like, man, what do you do? Because you see what's there. And, where he was at coming out of Pekin, we were like, what's best for Keaton? Is it best for him to go, to a junior college and be able to get out there and pitch more often?
Mm-hmm.
Because at that time, the pitching was loaded here, and he probably would have had to set a year, maybe longer. So our thought was, hopefully we can get Keaton back when he heads,
Mm-hmm.
out to Iowa Western. Well, he went into pro ball, and look what he's done. I mean, he's just continued to get better and develop. And hats off to Keaton, man. He's done a great
story,
job.
isn't it?
Yeah, it really is a great story, and super happy for him being a Southeast Iowa guy too.
Yeah.
And you don't see that often, and like I said, he's got an awesome family.
Yeah, then you take a look at Mitch Keller, straight out of high school, Cedar Rapids Xavier, works his way through the Pirate organization. Now it's really come full circle with him. As I mentioned, A.J. Puck, Cedar Rapids Wash, had some injuries. Guys you've looked at, guys you've talked to. I mentioned earlier about Cal Eldred with his son C.J. being here, and he's in pro ball too, trying to work his way around. And his younger brother Luke went to Dallas Baptist, trying to work his way through minor league ball. I think it's underestimated is why I'm bringing this up to you.
Yeah.
Because I want fans to know, and they say, well, why didn't Coach Heller in Iowa baseball get Keaton Wynn or all these other guys? Well, you just stated it right there. Development. Are they going to have a chance to play here? Others have, others have, like in Mitch Keller's case, you go to the major leagues and work your way through the minors. So talk about that a little bit.
Just really happy for Mitch. I mean, he's lighting it up.
Big time,
and he's worked really hard. And I know he trains hard in the off season. He's a great guy. Don't get a chance to talk to him a whole lot, but I thought we were going to get to see him this year because he had sent word he was maybe needing a place to come throw, and we were like, yeah, come on over.
Yeah.
So maybe next off season I'll get to see.
I'll
Mitch
put in a word with Dugout Sports. Yeah.
And same thing with AJ, and had talks with both those guys, and great guys, and super happy for their success, and like you said, it's awesome to see that kind of talent coming out of our state.
But let's you and I talk. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention the upgrades upcoming to Dwayne Banks Field, and Hellerball going to have a renovation going on. So let's touch on that real quick, if we could, please.
Yeah, for sure. We're coming down the stretch with our fundraising for the new stadium, which is much needed. I mean, we've done a great job of phasing it in. I mean, the playing field, the surroundings for the players.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as good as anybody in the league. But the actual grandstands and the facilities, the bathrooms, concessions.
Press box just a little tight. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, press box is it's just way outdated.
You're winning too much, Rick. Too many people coming in.
Much needed, and
good problem.
Anyway, it's been a long, hard process that we're coming down the stretch, and if all goes well, which I think it will, we got to get approval by the Board of Regents sometime this fall, and then we are hoping to break ground right after the last game next year.
Beautiful.
So anybody out there that didn't know about it or wants to be a part of it, we're out there beating the bushes and trying to finish off the final bit of money that we have to get before we go to the Board of Regents this fall, and I'm confident we're gonna get there and be ready to roll. But we could certainly use some help if anybody out there feels like they want to.
HawkeyeSports.com/baseball. Let's get it going. Absolutely. UI Baseball, at UI Baseball via Twitter. Reach out. We'd, as Coach said, love to have the help. Just, Coach, the time police is for you is going to be honest again, because you and I could go on for days about baseball, and we do. And I can't even begin to say thank you enough for taking the time to do a follow-up interview with us after your banner season. Folks, there he is, Iowa native, Heller Ball, University of Iowa head baseball coach Rick Heller. Rick, thanks so much.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate having me on.
You're very welcome. Truly my pleasure. So for Rick Heller, I'm Dave O'Hara on Hawkeyed, and my production partner Michael Merrick. And to you, the viewers, thanks so much. That's all from us. Thanks to all of you. And as always, thanks for staying tuned at the end of the program for these rolling credits to give our advertisers and sponsors the attention and credit they so richly deserve. And as always, to our aforementioned guests and to you, the viewers. That's all from us at Hawkeyed. Thanks to all of you.